So good. After 30 years, Blue Rodeo remains one of Canada's foremost bands with over 4 million albums sold, multiple Juno Awards, their own star on Canada's Walk of Fame, and named to the Order of Canada. That's just to name a few. Blue Rodeo's frontman Jim Cuddy has made himself one of Canada's most respected artists in the industry, onto his 4th solo album, you heard of it right there, and national tour. We're so happy to welcome back Jim Cuddy. So good to see you. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, first of all, you don't age.
Oh,
what is the secret? It's clearly your passion and love for all things music.
Well, okay, I'll go with that. I think that you believe me, I see myself. I know age just like everybody else. But it is good to do something you love, for sure.
Yeah, and this is a beautiful album.
Thank you.
Really, truly. When do you have time to sit down? Because you're doing so much touring. I mean, we said this is what, your 19th album, 15 with Blue Rodeo, your 4th solo. When do you have time? When does it come to you? Do you sit yourself down and say, I'm going to write music?
I do. Once the sort of the Blue Rodeo thing's established, like once we did Thousand Arms and we were touring, then I knew that I was going to do a solo record, so I started to think about writing. And I just write with my phone, little recorder beside me, and figure stuff out. And then when I come back, go to the studio every day, just like a job. Go for 3 hours or so, write, move everything forward, you know, push the ball up the hill.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, it just comes naturally after all this time.
Well, it shows, because it really is so fluid and beautiful. And I cannot believe the tour dates. I'm exhausted looking at them. It starts February 8th. You go night after night. You're visiting every city, including Toronto, on Valentine's Day. Thank you for that, at Massey Hall. Great venue.
Yeah, I know. In the last year, in its current form.
Yeah. So how do you gear up for touring? Because it seems exhausting looking at the schedule, but you love it.
Well, I do love it, and I'm touring with Barney Bento, who's a good friend, and my 2 sons, Sam Pauly and Devin Cuddy. So there's a lot to get excited about. I mean, I like being out with my band anyway, but adding those guys is going to be just such a joy. And I think I was telling you earlier that this is the only discipline I get. When I play, then I don't drink every night, then I exercise every day. So it's a good thing for me. I need the imposition of work to make me to put a little discipline in my life.
And yet you remain so humble. All of the success has not affected you in any way. Do you just look at it with the same fresh eyes and gratitude as always when you're out in front of that live audience?
I think so. I mean, Greg and I certainly experienced enough failure to recognize that success is a blessing. You know, we didn't even start Blue Rodeo till we were almost 30 years old, and so I think that we don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
We figure it really is just, I mean, that's our job. Our job is making music. There's no more exalted ground to live on. You're a musician, which is a great job, but getting a swelled head would be stupid.
And what do you love most about touring? What are you looking forward to the most? You mentioned
Well,
your
I like
sons.
the playing. I like actually, I sort of figure that I have these skills that if I keep exercising them, they'll last. So the actual playing, as I'm going over the set now, I think, oh, I'll bring my son out now, and I'll bring Barney out. So it's very fun to just sculpt this evening of music that's going to be like a review or a big jamboree. So the actual playing, is the greatest thing, no matter what problems there are in a band. By the end of a good show, they are lessened. You're like, that was fun.
Well
Everybody
said.
Feels good. You did well.
You make us feel good with your music, and if people get on and order it today, there are 3 bonus tracks ahead of the actual release tomorrow. And I know when you actually get the ticket for the live shows, you get the digital copy of the album. So do not miss your chance to pre-order Jim's 4th solo album right now in advance, as we mentioned, of the release tomorrow, instantly receiving 3 brand new tracks from Constellation. That's the title of the album. And check out the Constellation tour, as we mentioned, stops by Massey Hall just down the road on Valentine's Day. How does your wife feel about that? For more information, visit jimcuddy.com.
Okay.
You have to serenade her at some point. Maybe she'll come to the show.
She's okay.
Shout out to your wife, too.
Yeah,
your loving wife. Continued success.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for getting up early for us. Right now, over to Mel.